Why would 3 musicians squeeze through a manhole-sized opening with their instruments to climb down a 14-foot ladder into a dark underground cistern? For us, echo and reverberation can be fascinating. Consider what fun it is to sing in the shower. Perhaps it brings out our inner Narcissus. The balloon pop you heard represents the remarkable 45-second reverberation time in the Dan Harpo cistern in Port Townsend, Washington State, where the 3 of us played the music that is sounding now. The meme, deep listening, occurred to me after our recording in the cistern. We had come there to experience the unusual sound. Recording was really an afterthought that resulted in the release of Deep Listening by New Albion Records in 1989. And that was the birth of Deep Listening Band with Stuart Dempster, Paniotis, and myself. In order to play in the cistern environment, we had to learn to listen in a new way. We had no plan, no written score, and had no discussion beforehand. We simply improvised, played, and learned that the cistern was playing with us. We had to respect the sound that was coming back to us from the cistern walls and include it in our musical sensibility. All this was unspoken and simply experienced by the 3 of us. We chose Deep Listening as a title for the CD and band. We were all incurable punsters, and we created the music so deep underground. The practice of deep listening, as it has developed, explores the difference between hearing and listening. The ear hears, the brain listens, the body senses vibrations. Listening is a lifetime practice that depends on accumulated experiences with sound. Listening can be focused to detail or open to the entire field of sound. Listening is a mysterious process that is not the same for everyone. Humans have developed consensual agreements on the interpretation of sound waves delivered to the brain by the ears. Languages are such agreements. To hear and to listen have a symbiotic relationship with a questionable common usage. We know more about hearing than listening. Scientists can measure what happens in the ear. Measuring listening is another matter, as it involves subjectivity. We confuse hearing with listening. For example, music schools program ear training classes, but the ear can't be trained. What really happens is a cultivation of musical mind. I differentiate to hear and to listen. To hear is the physical means that enables perception. To listen is to give attention to what is perceived, both acoustically and psychologically. Hearing turns a certain range of vibrations into perceptible sounds. When listening, there is a constant interplay with the perception of the moment compared with remembered experience. Listening, or the interpretation of sound waves, then, is subject to time delays. Sometimes what is heard is interpreted anywhere from milliseconds to many years later or never. So what did we learn from the cistern? Learning to listen to the cistern space led to listening more closely to all performance spaces and beyond. Each space is different and couples with instruments and voices to sound differently. Performance space is as important as voices and instruments. Formation of Deep Listening Band led to deep listening retreats, workshops, lectures, concerts the world over, and now to the new Center for Deep Listening at Rensselaer that hosts scholars and conferences on deep listening. Deep listening came from 14 feet underground to higher education. So what is deep listening? Acoustic space is where time and space merge as they are articulated by sound. Deep has to do with complexity, boundaries, or edges beyond ordinary or habitual understandings. The subject is too deep for me, or she is a deep thinker. A subject that is too deep surpasses one's present understanding, or has too many unknown parts to grasp easily. A deep thinker defies stereotypical knowing, and it may take either a long time or never to understand her. Deep, coupled with listening, or deep listening for me, is learning to expand perception of sounds to include the whole space-time continuum of sound, encountering the vastness and complexities as much as possible. Simultaneously, one ought to be able to target a sound or sequence of sounds, perceiving the beginning, middle, and end of them as a focus. Such focus and expansion means that one is connected to the whole of the environment and beyond. My practice is to listen to everything all the time and remind myself when I am not listening. I invite you to take a moment now to notice what you are hearing and to expand your listening to continually include more. The level of awareness of soundscape brought about by deep listening can lead to the possibility of shaping the chaotic sounds of technology and of urban environments and machinery. Deep listening designers, engineers, and city planners could enhance the quality of life along with artists, sound artists, composers, musicians, and all people who care about sound. We loved playing in the Dan Harpole Cistern, but we couldn't really invite an audience to join us there. For 25 years, we wished for a way to bring the Cistern acoustics to concert venues. On my 80th birthday, this wish was granted. My RPI colleague, acoustician Jonas Brash, had measured the acoustical properties of the cistern, and with his students created a portable software simulation of the space. My birthday concert in May of 2012 was performed in the Experimental Media and Performing Arts Center Concert Hall at RPI. With 600 audience members immersed in the reverberations of the simulated cistern, the celebration was joyous, and the audience had a brand new experience that made us all very happy. You're now listening to Lapis Lazuli from Sonic Gems, recorded by Deep Listening Band in the simulated cistern at Dunrobin Sonic Gym near Ottawa, Ontario. This was a celebration of the 25th anniversary of Deep Listening Band. We can now take the cistern acoustics almost anywhere. Enjoy.